The hidden psychology of seduction. Make her weak for you. Men, let's get brutally honest for a moment. Most guys today are struggling with women because they don't understand the hidden psychology behind attraction. They think seduction is about looks, money, or smooth lines. They think it's about chasing harder, proving themselves, or trying to impress. But the truth is, none of that works if you don't understand what's happening in her mind deep beneath the surface. Seduction is not surface level, it's psychological. It's about how you make her feel, not just what you say or what you do. And here's the reality that many men don't want to face. Women aren't just drawn to the good guy who plays it safe. They're drawn to the man who makes them feel intensity, mystery, and depth. They're drawn to the man who knows how to trigger the hidden switches in her mind, the ones that make her weak for him even when she doesn't want to be. If you've ever seen the show Fatal Seduction, you'll know Groot Boom is a perfect example of this. He's not the flashiest. He's not the most handsome in a traditional sense, but what he has is presence, danger, mystery, and control. He embodies the psychology of seduction in a way that makes women fall under his spell without even realizing it's happening. And that's what I'm about to break down for you. 7 hidden psychological truths that, if you master them, will make women feel a pull towards you that they can't resist. But before we dive in, I need you to pause for a second and ask yourself, are you willing to hear some truths that might shatter the way you've been approaching women? Because if you're not ready to shift your mindset, nothing I say will matter. But if you are ready to unlock this hidden side of yourself, if you're ready to learn the deeper game that most men will never understand, then stick with me until the end. And subscribe right now, because this channel, The Alpha Mindset, is here to wake men up, to strip away the lies, and to help you step into the kind of power that changes everything. Now let's begin. 1. The magnetic calm. Seduction starts in silence. A woman reads your energy before you even open your mouth, and what she feels in those first few seconds determines everything. The most seductive men carry a magnetic calm, an energy that says, I'm unshaken, I'm in control, and I don't need to prove myself. This is exactly what made Groot Boom so dangerous in Fatal Seduction. He wasn't frantic, he wasn't chasing, he wasn't over-explaining, he was still. He carried a presence that forced others to lean in, to wonder what was going on inside his mind. That calm is hypnotic because it signals confidence. And confidence is the foundation of seduction. Now think about yourself. When you walk into a room, are you radiating calm energy that makes people feel your presence without you even speaking? Or are you giving off nervousness, fidgeting, and trying too hard to be noticed? Women feel that difference immediately. A man who can sit in silence, hold her gaze, and remain unshaken is a man she will never forget. The hidden psychology here is that women are wired to test a man's stability. They want to feel like he's unmovable, that he won't collapse under pressure. Your calmness tells her that you're solid, that you're not desperate, and that you're a man she can lean into emotionally. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about being so grounded in yourself that nothing shakes you. Here's a mind-blowing question. When a woman tests your patience, challenges your ego, or even tries to make you jealous, do you react and lose control? Or do you stay calm and smile because you already know who you are? That single choice will determine whether she respects you or loses attraction for you. 2. Dangerous mystery. Every woman is drawn to mystery. It's hardwired. She doesn't want to know everything about you too soon. She wants to be intrigued, to feel like there are layers of you she hasn't yet discovered. Mystery creates emotional tension, and emotional tension is the spark that fuels desire. This is where most men fail. They overshare, they over-explain, they put their whole life on the table on the first date, hoping she'll like them more. But what actually happens? She gets bored. She stops wondering about you. And when curiosity dies, attraction dies with it. Now go back to Groot Boom. His mystery wasn't about lying or playing games. It was about the way he revealed himself in fragments. He gave enough to keep a woman hooked, but never enough for her to feel like she fully owned him. That's what kept her leaning in, kept her questioning, kept her chasing. She could feel there was always more beneath the surface, and that made him irresistible. So here's the question you need to wrestle with. Are you the man who leaves a trail of curiosity? Or are you the man who puts everything on display and kills the intrigue? Seduction isn't about giving her all the answers. It's about letting her imagination work in your favor. Mystery works because it triggers her psychological need to solve puzzles. Humans crave resolution, and when she feels she hasn't fully figured you out, she can't let go. You become the story she keeps replaying in her head, the unsolved riddle she wants to decode. That's when seduction takes root, not because of what you told her, but because of what you left unsaid. Seduction is never about being obvious. It's about creating an invisible thread between you and her, a tension she feels in her body before she even understands it with her mind. We've already spoken about the magnetic calm and the dangerous mystery, but now we're going to dive even deeper into the mechanics of psychology that make a woman lose herself around you. 3. Emotional roller coaster. If you want to understand seduction, you have to understand this. Women are addicted to emotions. They don't fall for men because of logic. They fall because of how you make them feel. And the men who master seduction are the ones who take her on an emotional ride she never wants to get off. Think about Groot Boom. He wasn't safe. He wasn't predictable. He created highs and lows, moments of intensity, then moments of silence. He gave pleasure, but he also gave conflict. He stirred emotions in a way that made it impossible for her to remain neutral. That's what you must master, the art of unpredictability. Most men think stability means being boringly consistent, but true stability means you can handle chaos while still staying grounded. You don't have to be dramatic, but you do need to create emotional spikes. Make her laugh, make her wonder, make her frustrated, then make her melt. When she feels everything with you, she becomes addicted to you. Here's a question that will shake you. If she removed sex from the equation, could you still keep her hooked just by the way you make her feel emotionally? If the answer is no, you're not seducing her. You're only using her body. And that's not power, that's weakness. Real seduction is about emotional imprint, the kind that makes her think about you even when you're not around. 4. Command of space. The psychology of seduction is not just about words. It's about how you use your body, your eyes, your tone, and your presence. Women notice everything. They notice the way you enter a room, the way you sit, the way you pause before speaking. Every movement is a signal, and seductive men know how to send the right ones. Groot Boom was a master of this. He didn't rush his words. He didn't fill the silence with nervous chatter. He let his stillness, his eye contact, his posture speak for him. And that command of space made women lean toward him without even realizing it. He occupied his environment like a man who belonged there. Ask yourself this: when you walk into a space, do you shrink and hide, or do you expand and own it without arrogance? Seduction requires you to embody presence. You don't need to be the loudest man in the room. In fact, often the loudest man is the weakest. True presence is quiet power, the kind of energy that forces people to acknowledge you without you begging for it. The hidden psychology here is that women are drawn to leaders, not followers. And leadership begins with how you carry yourself. Your walk, your tone, your control of silence. They all signal to her whether you're the kind of man who dominates life or the kind of man who gets dominated by it. 5. Controlled chaos. Here's the paradox. Women are drawn to men who can create chaos but also control it. It's the balance between danger and safety, unpredictability and stability. That's why bad boys are so irresistible. Not because they are destructive, but because they know how to stir emotions and then bring things back under control. Look at Groot Boom again. He created tension, he pushed boundaries, but he also pulled back before it became reckless. He kept her guessing, but he never lost control. That's why he remained powerful. A man who loses control of himself becomes a liability, but a man who creates chaos intentionally, then calms the storm, becomes unforgettable. So here's a deep question. Do you control your emotions or do your emotions control you? Because if you can't lead yourself, you'll never lead her. And if you can't lead her, she will never truly surrender to you. Controlled chaos means you introduce unpredictability in doses that excite her but never destroy trust. You make her feel alive but also safe in your presence. That balance is where the deepest seduction lies. When she craves the high of your energy but knows you'll never let it spiral into disaster. Seduction is a game of psychology, not force. The men who win in this game understand that a woman doesn't surrender because you demand it. She surrenders because your energy, your words, and your actions bypass her logic and hit her emotions directly. That's the power you've been missing. And now we go deeper into the final two psychological levers that make her weak for you. 6, mental intrigue. You must understand this. Her body follows her mind. If she's fascinated by you mentally, if she finds herself replaying your words long after you've left, then her attraction will only intensify. The strongest seduction is not when she wants your touch in the moment, but when she obsesses over you in silence, when she thinks about you before sleep, when she hears your voice echoing in her head. Grootboom's character in Fatal Seduction used this brilliantly. He wasn't just physical, he was intellectual. He dropped ideas, made statements, and asked questions that stuck in her mind. That's what made him unforgettable. You need to do the same. Plant thoughts in her head that make her question everything she knows. Ask her, do you think attraction is a choice, or is it something that controls us without permission? Or, have you ever wondered why the people we shouldn't want are the ones we can't resist? These aren't pickup lines, like they are psychological hooks. They make her connect you to curiosity, depth, and mental stimulation. Here's the real challenge for you. Can you make a woman feel like she learns more about herself simply by being around you? Because if you can, she'll chase that experience again and again. The art of anticipation. Seduction thrives on what is not yet given. Anticipation is the fuel that keeps desire burning long after the spark. Think about this. The most addictive part of attraction isn't the moment she gets what she wants. It's the waiting, the wondering, the suspense. That's where the fire is. Look at Elon Musk. When he launches a new product, he doesn't just drop it quietly, he teases it. He creates mystery, drops hints, lets the world's imagination run wild. By the time the Tesla Cybertruck was revealed, people had already built the hype in their own minds. That's why anticipation sells out products before they even exist. Now imagine applying that psychology to seduction. Instead of giving her all of you immediately, create a sense of waiting. Let her crave your texts by not always replying instantly. Let her lean in by pulling back just when she's most curious. Even in conversation, you can master anticipation. Share a story, but stop just before the best part. Smile and say, I'll tell you the rest another time. Now she's hooked, not because of what you gave, but because of what you withheld. Grootboom used anticipation masterfully in Fatal Seduction. He didn't move too fast. He let her imagination work against her, letting her picture possibilities far more powerful than anything he even said. That's what anticipation does. It lets her mind seduce itself in your absence. Here's the question you must ask yourself. Do you leave her with something to look forward to, or do you give everything too soon and kill the desire before it can even grow? 7. Withholding power. This is the deadliest secret in seduction, and the one most men fail to understand. Seduction is not about giving everything. It's about giving a taste, then pulling back. It's about feeding her desire in doses so small that her hunger for you never dies. Grootboom embodied this perfectly. He didn't reveal everything at once. He kept layers hidden, made her wonder, made her doubt, made her crave. And because of that, he never lost his power. Too many men think that to seduce a woman, you must shower her with attention, affection, and availability. But the truth is, the more she has of you, the less she values you. The less she has of you, the more she needs you. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you left a conversation at its peak instead of dragging it on until it died? When was the last time you walked away while she still wanted more? That is the psychology of seduction. You must have the discipline to deny her full access, because in scarcity lies value. Seduction is not just about presence, it's about absence. It's the silence after intensity. It's the unanswered message that lingers in her mind. It's the smile you gave her without explanation. It's the fact. 8. Controlled vulnerability. Most men either show no vulnerability, acting cold, robotic, untouchable, or they overshare their weakness and get labeled as soft. Both extremes kill seduction. The secret lies in controlled vulnerability. It's when you reveal just enough humanity to create connection without ever losing your masculine edge. Take Mr. Beast as an example. He's a billionaire, yet he often speaks openly about his struggles, his failures, and even his doubts. But notice how he frames it, always as part of a bigger story of growth, resilience, and purpose. That's why millions respect him. His vulnerability doesn't make him look weak. It makes him relatable. And that relatability amplifies his aura. In seduction, controlled vulnerability makes her trust you. Show her a scar, but don't bleed out in front of her. Admit that you've been hurt before, but also make it clear you rose stronger from it. This balance makes her feel closer to you while still respecting your strength. Grootboom displayed this subtly. He wasn't perfect, and his flaws made him real. But he carried his flaws with control, never apologizing for them, never begging for acceptance. That's the difference between weakness and controlled vulnerability. Ask yourself this: when you open up, do you share in a way that draws her in, or in a way that pushes her away? Because the difference lies in whether your vulnerability is mastered or consuming you. Then, the power of silence. If words are weapons, silence is nuclear. Most men talk too much, explain too much, and fill the air with noise because they're afraid of stillness. But the man who can sit in silence and still dominate the room carries an aura that makes women weak. Think about Elon Musk again. He often pauses during interviews, letting silence hang in the air. At first, people think he's awkward. Then they realize he's making them wait, making them lean into his rhythm. That silence isn't weakness, it's dominance. It makes every word he speaks carry more weight. In seduction, silence works the same way. When she asks you something, pause before answering. When she tries to test you, smile and let the silence work for you. Grootboom used this in Fatal Seduction. His silences weren't empty. They were filled with tension, with mystery, with unspoken confidence. She couldn't read him, and that unreadability pulled her deeper. Silence also gives her space to invest. When you stop filling every moment, she fills it for you. She reveals more, she chases harder, she tries to break through the calm wall you present. That's when the psychology flips. She becomes the one working for your attention. Here's the mind-bending question. Are you comfortable enough with your own presence that you don't need to fill every silence? Because if you're not, then you're not truly in control. So let this be your wake-up call. Stop chasing women. Start building yourself. Become the man whose aura speaks louder than his words, whose sweetness is backed by power, and whose life is fueled by purpose. Because when you do that, women won't just want you, they'll respect you, and respect is what makes desire last. If this message hit you, then subscribe to the Alpha Mindset right now. Every video here is designed to sharpen you, to challenge you, and to turn you into the man who doesn't just get attention, but commands it. Stay tuned because this journey is just getting started, and I'll see you in the next one.